So, there was a new event called Heat and Steel by Wargaming, and the main prize of that event was the BZ Blaze, which I got, but I'm not gonna say that I'm really proud of myself because obviously I got the tank for free, I didn't pay anything for it, but the amount of tryharding that you need to do to get the tank is a lot, and I wouldn't say that it is possible to get for an average player. What I would recommend if you really want this tank and you have some extra gold, what I would do is play the 100 battle games, get like 80% discount, because you already played the 100 games, get the 80% discount, and maybe then buy the tank for pretty cheap, maybe like 1000, 1000, even 2000 gold. I would say that it would be worth it, but if you don't want the tank or you don't want to pay for it, or you cannot get it because you're not good enough, then go for the key. Maybe you're gonna get lucky, and I've seen a lot of players getting smashers, which I'm really happy of, because if Wargaming didn't add this key, then I don't know what would be the point of this event. But yeah, at least they give us the key, which I really liked. So you could choose if you want to go for the tank with a discount or you want to go for the key. Obviously, for really amazing players, this tank could be yours for free, or probably most of you already finished the event, but there we go. This is the Blaze. I really like this tank. This is a pretty good tank. It's really similar to Gorilla. It has good aiming time, high alpha damage for its tier. Obviously Gorilla is tier 10 and this guy is tier 7, but the alpha damage for this tier 400 alpha is really nice. Penetration, I think it's 175. Yeah, it is 175, which is okay. It's average for a 122mm. And what equipment I'm using is obviously Adrenaline double repair kit. I experimented with engine boost, which worked. It helps you going through the water and stuff, and then the food to maximize your DPM, and fuel to drive around a little bit quicker. Now this tank doesn't carry a lot of ammo, so this is how I split my ammo. I think that it's a pretty good split: 13 APs, 8 APCRs and 3 HEs. I only once ran out of APCRs, but it didn't really need, and it's gonna be in one of today's games. HEs, you might run out of them, but to be honest, I keep them only for the tanks that has pretty much no armor, or if I cannot pen with gold and AP, then I might shoot HE as well. Equipment is pretty standard: gun rammer, defense system, camo net, because it's not really worth running optics on tank destroyer. You're not gonna spot anyone anyway, and this camo net really adds a good benefit. 64 camo while stationary, which is really good for ATD. Well, I use supercharge over here to get that shell velocity and don't lose as much pen over distance. I would say this one is a really nice equipment for your tank destroyer, because you don't lose as much pen, plus your shells go faster, so when you aim at the tanks, for example on the top of the ridges, your shell is not gonna go so high like it used to do. With higher shell velocity, it's gonna go more straight rather than up and above the tank. You miss those tanks quite often, so that's why I use supercharge. I could be using enhanced gun link dry, but my aiming time is already good enough. I don't need a lot more. Here it's pretty obvious, you use more hit point because you don't have any armor, and this is pretty obvious as well. You use engine accelerator to move around the battlefield quicker. It's not really worth using improved control because you only get 1.5 extra degrees of hull traverse a second, so it's not really worth it. I use engine accelerator, which helps me way more. Here it depends on you, what you like more. I like having better dispersion, and because it's more of a sniper tank, I'm definitely gonna take a dispersion. You could go for vertical stabilizer. It says 15% accuracy during tank and turret movement, and it reduces aiming time, but I like refined gun more to get that dispersion lower and hit my shots more reliably with the tank. Toolbox, pretty obvious, and consumable delivery system as well, pretty obvious choice over here. So what I don't like about this tank now is that it only traverses 45 degrees to each side, which is not making this tank really comfortable to play when you need to peek with your whole hull. So that's why it's more of a sniper tank. It has 80 degrees of gun depression, which is quite nice, but when you have non-fully traversable turret, it's gonna be pretty difficult to peek over ridges to get that free shot. And just you shouldn't really be doing this with this tank. It has only 1000 hit points and it literally has 0 armor everywhere. So I don't recommend going over ridges, that's not really a good choice if you ask me. It's more of a sniper tank, and then at the end of the game use your HP to trade shots. Trading shots against lower tiers, that is fine, I'm completely fine if you do that with this tank, but against higher tiers I don't recommend going and trading shots because your pen with regular ammos are already bad enough, and if you use gold then you lower your DPM even more, especially if you're trading shots, then you have no hit points, and if you shoot gold you just lower your chances of winning a fight. So let's see how this tank actually performs in a battle. So first battle, Desert Sands, as you can see top tiers, which is pretty good, couple of tier 6s as well. Now what I do here is I go on the rails to camp because I can see that my teammates are going to the city and to the right, which is not ideal in this game, especially when it's only 7 versus 7. Every tank pretty much counts over here, so what I'm doing now is waiting for my mediums to spot. I see a tank, trying to aim for it. I get really unlucky, I think I shot a little bit too early, so I got pretty unlucky. Didn't get the hit. Second shot on the comet, bounces, nothing I can do about that, just blame the RNG I guess. Well, the shot wasn't really the best as well, so it was a 50-50. Now the reason why I'm not moving up is because enemy heavies are not spotted, enemy TDs are not spotted, so I don't know if they're gonna go to this side. Well, I see a few of them going to the city, so I'm immediately going to help my mediums, but my mediums are dying really quickly, there is not a lot that I can do about it. I see the T-43, I get an easy shot into him, which is good for me. That guy rams our T-37, kills him as well. But he pays with his life, so that was a good trade for us. Not really good trade for him, but I'll take it. 2 easy shots, 1 kill so far, 700 damage. Against tier 6s, this 400 alpha damage gun is really nasty. Pretty much with every shot you take half of their HP, which is a lot for a tier 6. Now as you can see, Comet is just over peaking way too much to get one shot into him. He pretty much traded 400 for 150 or so that wasn't really a good trade for him. Now what I'm trying to do is use this bush to my advantage. I'm trying to spot that Comet before he spots me. That almost worked out. I went a little bit forward because I wanted to rush him anyway. So far 2 kills, 1,200 damage, that's not bad for us. I'm seeing that VK is going for our tanks in the city, so I'm gonna go and try and help. Now here comes another reason why I don't really like this tank that much, is the elevation. Elevation is only 10 degrees. 10 degrees is not much. Well, usually you don't use your gun elevation. Now this is just RNG, there is nothing I can say about this, that's just pure RNG. Anyway, 10 degrees of gun elevation. You cannot really use ridges to your advantage if you're having only 10 degrees of gun elevation. Now that was a pretty lucky shot. I managed to set the T-1029 on fire, and I can see that box tank is going to my right, so I'm gonna try to take him on the fight. I get 400 damage shot plus the tracking. He didn't shoot me for some reason. I don't think he had enough gun depression. I'm not really sure, but this is where I expected to take one, but he was focused on my teammate. I had just enough to retraverse to kill him. Now this is where I probably should have shot the VK to make him a one-shot kill, but I decided to kill the box tank for my third kill, up to 2.7k damage, and I'm 1 against 4 at the moment with 2.7k damage. I don't have an ace on this tank yet, so there we go. We put one shot into the VK, he's now a one-shot for us. We should be able to kill him. I don't know why the reticle is bugged over there. We should be able to kill him, but I didn't decide to risk it. I killed him with HE just because I didn't want to go for a 50-50 with AP. My AP does 390 average alpha, so you know, that's gonna be a risk. This is where I allow the gold, go for the track, pretty simple stuff. One of them is capping, so I'm trying to eliminate them one by one if I can, up to 3.6k damage, 5 kills as well. This was really unlucky, and the 87 went out of cap. I'm trying to run away, but that's just a little bit too much for this tank. And as you can see, this tank can trade shots, but it's not a brawler. In top tiers it might be a brawler, but in higher tiers it's not. So as you can see, we finished with 3.7 thousand damage, first class for this battle, 5 kills. We were really close of getting an ace, I would say. A couple more kills or even a win with 5 kills and 3.6k damage would be enough for a win. But you know, that's unlucky. We lost the battle. Couple of RNG shots as well, like the one on the VK and the Comet, twice on the Comet. I missed them. If I could have hit them, maybe I could have changed something, but I don't really think so. That was a pretty decent game to be honest, and let's jump into the next one. There we go. Second battle. I think this map is called Lost Temple. I really wish that Wargaming brings this map into the higher tiers matchmaking. Again, top tiers. Don't worry, the next battle is gonna be against tier 8s. So I'll show how this tank performs in tier 8s. Now, the tank doesn't perform well in tier 8s because obviously the lack of HP plus non-fully traversable turret. You cannot play like you could with Waffle, for example, the tier 9 Waffle. You can peek with your turret in that tank, and with this tank you need to expose the whole hull. Now we're going to the right. I'm gonna try to trade my shots because they only have tier 6 mediums. This is where we get a pretty easy shot into the T-34-85, which he was doing a pretty big mistake. I mean, I understand why he did that. He didn't spot anything. Now this is where side scraping helped me, but don't rely on side scraping too much because your turret is weak, and I think that your side armor is pretty weak as well. I'm not sure about that, but if you side scrape, you expose your turret a lot. That was a really nice shot, and this is where the aiming time of this tank shines. You can obviously decrease the aiming time with this tank if you use this stabilizer and enhance gun laying drive, but I'm not using them. I like to be a little bit more of a sniper rather than a brawler. There we go, we got another kill on a tier 6 P43. So that's not bad, 900 damage, 2 kills so far. That's a pretty good start. We can see the KV2. He's overpeaking way too much. We get tracked, but that's fine. I know that he's reloading, so I'm gonna get a free shot into him, which was pretty good roll as well. They're all in the cap circle, and there is a bush in front of me, plus I'm running Camonet, which is gonna help me, but I cannot really see through this bush. And the reason why I couldn't see that KV2 was because there was a wall and a tent over there. I managed to max roll the Helsing, and he dies immediately, which was really nice when you get max roll. Now this is where I use my HE. This is why I have HE on this tank. 522 I think damage shot that was, which was lovely. We wrecked that tank as well. KV2, I could have went for him, but I chose to go for other KV2 because I probably wouldn't be able to hit the first one. So I went for the second one, bounced, unlucky. Aiming time helps to hit the shots as well as dispersion. Now what I should have done here is probably went over the bridge immediately because I have two teammates on my right, and at the time I didn't really see that. This is not really what you're supposed to do. That 87 has great positioning, and I'm just gonna lose that every single time. So this is what I should have done probably 30 seconds ago. I should have rushed, maybe I could have gotten the kill on KV2, but I didn't, so I guess I kinda paid for it. And I lost some HP, which wasn't ideal. We get the kill on KV2, up to 3 kills, almost 3000 damage. And I'm hoping to get at least one more shot into this 87. He's turning around everywhere, and there we go, one extra shot, and this is gonna be it. Not gonna get any more shots. And this match was okay. This is pretty much what you would get usually in top tiers with this tank. I would say 400 alpha is really nice on it. As you can see, 3.1 thousand damage, second class only, 3 kills. I would say if we got in maybe one more kill, couple more shots, then that might have been a first class or even an ace, but you know, that wasn't too bad. I hit almost every of my shot, didn't pen one on the KV2, so that wasn't so lucky. But as you can see, I made a huge amount of credits simply because I was running with booster. Without it, I would have made 50,000 credits, so it's not terrible on making credits if you know how to use this tank, but there are definitely better tanks for making credits. Alright, here we go. The last game on Castilla, and as I promised, tier rates. So, what I recommend you to do with this tank when you're playing against tier 8s is to be a sniper. Don't be a brawler like you are in top tiers. It's not really gonna work out. Like, the tier 8s are way better than you. They have more view range, everything. They have pretty much everything more than you have. So what I would recommend is, like in this case, I'm going to camp, because I can snipe. I'm using the refined gun, plus the aiming time is pretty good. So you should be a sniper tank, especially when you have pretty nice camo at your disposal. So this is what you should be doing. Now I realize that I'm going a little bit too far. There is no one from my teammates on the left side, so if they push, I might be dead over here. So what I decide to go a little bit to the right. As you can see, I should have waited here. I should have waited, even though I'm using supercharge for extra shell velocity, but I could have gotten a free shot. What I wanted to do is go over here on this little hill and shoot at the heavies, but I kinda slid down. It wasn't intentional, but I was spotted, so there was nothing I could have done about it. Now I see there is a couple of heavy tanks, and I'm gonna show you an example of how good the camo of this tank actually is. So as you can see, there's a couple heavy tanks. I cannot pen any of them with my 175 penetration, so I'm gonna be shooting a lot of gold. As you can see, I don't have a lot of gold, only 7 remaining. I missed one, so I'm gonna be shooting a lot of gold at those heavies, and that's completely fine. This is what you're supposed to do with tank when you're in a bottom tiers matchmaking, especially when you're camping, because you're losing penetration over distance anyway. But if you're using supercharge, then you're not gonna lose as much pen as you would. Now this is where I'm just waiting for this AMX to spot, but he gets spotted and he's doing a nice job of baiting them to shoot him, which they're not really doing. But there we go, they just did it. Just shot him, bounced, and I'm just waiting for the AMX to spot. There is nothing I can do. I don't have good view range, they're gonna outspot me. I have good camo, but they are still gonna outspot me. I can shoot here easily to them, even though they're like 200 meters in front of me. I have really nice camo while stationary. I think it's like 64 or so. Now this is where I would say I get pretty lucky with my shots, because I keep on hitting the lower plate of an IS-6 pretty often, and the dispersion is above 0.30, so that's not really a good dispersion, but it's not terrible when you're using refined gun. As I said before, I'm gonna be using a lot of gold, so there we go. Again, I hit the lower plate, which I would say that's pretty fortunate, because you could be missing a lot of these shots because of the dispersion. Now this is where, as you can see, again, I'm having problems with not shell velocity, the gun elevation. I bounced a shot into the tiger that was pretty unlucky. I think it went to the turret, so I'm keeping that last gold shell for myself. I'm gonna shoot the ISU for more damage. I get the low roll, but that's fine. I got 360 anyway. I'm completely fine with that. He doesn't know where I am because I have good camo. Well, it's almost 300 meters, so they have no chance, especially ISU. It's CTD, it has no view range as well. This is where the game is pretty much over. I'm gonna get one more extra shot with the gold. This game, I just wanted to show you how good the camo of this tank actually was, and as you can see, only now I got spotted, and it wasn't because of that tiger. The T-44 actually managed to spot me, and my view range is not good enough to spot him even after he fires. So as I said before, this tank is a sniper, or at least my build is made for this tank to be a sniper. You can try making a brawler, but I don't recommend it. I don't think that's gonna work. Overall, this tank is a really nice tank to play with. I would say it's a really good one. It's really similar to Grill, really similar, except in top tiers you can be a brawler. So as you can see, 2,700 damage, which was good, 46,000 credits profit. With booster I was shooting a lot of gold, so I don't know if I would have made profit. I think 11,000 profit anyway, even with all of that gold. Stopped on damage by the team, but obviously I was camping, I was providing support with my tier 7 and tier 8. And yeah, that was a pretty decent game for a sniper tank. Well, this is it for this tank. I would say that this tank is a really nice tank. It's pretty much the same playstyle as Grill, has lock turret as well as Grill, maybe a little less degrees, but that's pretty fine. I still like the tank. Is it worth the grind? If you can get it for free, then yes. If you can get it for 1,000 gold, then I would say that it's still worth it, but if you're a free-to-play player and you didn't get it, just go for the key for the crate and try your luck on getting a Smasher, which is a way better tank on 1 versus 1 scenario, but this tank can really shine as well with 400 alpha. I would say that that's a really good alpha for this tank. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Sub if you want to, it doesn't hurt you, and it would help me as well a lot. Like the video if you enjoyed it, or dislike if you didn't. I'm gonna see you in the next one, and see ya dudes.